Welcome to another episode of Ex Tempore, where I bring together some of the players with the audience to discuss what's happened in the previous session of ADlib&D, what were their characters thinking at the time, and any thoughts our valued listeners might have about our game. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to use the Twitch chat to pose them, and I will get to as many as I can over the course of the session. I would like to first indicate that, unfortunately, due to an audio mishap, the last half of the game on Friday did not work properly, in that you could hear the music but not the people talking. I apologize for that, and going forward I hope that won't be an issue. Nevertheless, we can move on to what did happen during the game and try and capture things. So what did happen was the first half was discussion of the meeting with Kordwin Brown, and in the second half there was a little bit of shopping involved in picking up some items, some arrows and a bag of holding. And then the party travelled towards the Northern Wastes. They were teleported there by Princess Alandra and started to trek across the cold, desolate land. They near the end of the session, they came across a group of bugbears that seemed to be doing some sort of strange behaviour. They were putting stuff into a pile. They tried to sneak up on them, but were spotted. And then a small combat ensued, and that's at the end of that combat is when the episode finished. So, and tonight I'd also like to point out that have a few more people than I was expecting. We've got almost the whole team here, which is great. If there's anyone does have questions of their own they'd like to pose to anyone else in the team or myself, we can happily push that along. So I'll. My questions will be directed towards Deception and Dagobah, but if Namtar or Frankie have any questions they'd like to pose, or even Deception and Dagobah, then I'm happy to answer them as well. But I'll start off with the first question towards you, Deception. So your character will be travelling through the cold region of the Northern Wastes. How do you think your character will cope about it?
I think he's a bit of a skinny boy, so probably not well. I was looking at some feats and I saw Infernal Constitution and I was like, he could have been cold resistant. But yeah, I think he is going to struggle a bit considering he's from a hotter area. Like, never been anywhere with real cold besides any snow. Yeah, it's definitely crazy.
It is definitely crazy. Yes, and you'll see how you go about that. All right. For you, Dagobah, Kordwin and the others at the meeting spoke of the progenitors. Does your character believe Kordwin and the others when they say they came before the gods?
I was too angry to give two shits to anything about what they were saying at that conversation. My focus was entirely on Kordwin. Even after he cast that spell, there was something that nagged at me. So my involvement in the conversation was minimal until they started talking about the Northern Wastes. Then I paid a little bit more attention. But any of the conversations about the progenitors, I just overtly, completely ignored.
Okay. The next
I got a question for Azrael.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Azrael or Deception.
Yeah, you go on.
Azrael seemed really keen on getting renowned from the Fantyr's fighting pits. So what are your thoughts, or what are your feelings that you didn't get it? That it never happened?
Azrael's pretty easygoing. He's just really happy to be part of a group that's well known enough to be talked about to fight something that might be above gods, and knowing that that'll get him renown. And they argued for renown with higher people. So, the fact he's going to be known to have free lodging and stuff in this place kind of trumps what he would have got from the fighting pits, which was an illegal activity frowned upon everywhere else.
Oh, I so love your answer. Cool.
It's an upgrade.
I agree. I'm happy. I got another question.
Okay.
Namtar or
Hello.
Jace. So, is there any roleplay moment that you would like a do-over for?
Gosh, this makes me think that you've got a particular moment in mind.
No. No, I was just trying to think of any cool questions.
Okay. I mean, look, I sort of, my thoughts immediately went to the final scene with Jason Balla, and I think I wouldn't change it, but I do wonder how things would have gone if Jace had acted differently.
Me too.
It was I certainly think it was certainly a surprise to you, Namtar, wasn't it? And probably yourself. Sorry,
yeah.
Jace and Namtar.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of these sorts of games, is that I've put things together, but I don't know how you're going to play it out. So it can add quite a bit of drama that wouldn't normally be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that from a character development point of view, I think it's going to probably be more powerful this way. But even still, it's going to knock Jace around for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Next one for you, Deception. The monolith that your group is to travel to is somewhere within the northern wastes. How do you expect your party will find the structure?
I don't know. Monoliths are usually huge, but this one probably isn't as big as, it's in the snow. It's probably got a lot of, I don't know if it's going to be heavy snow or what it's going to be there, like the climate, sorry. But yeah, so I think it'll be a bit harder to find. Maybe there'll be instructions from the people. Maybe we find the people that were sent on the original mission. Hopefully they have something, or maybe we can have a tied up bugbear now. He knows where the monolith is.
I mean, if you can talk to him.
Oh no, he may not speak common.
We'll see if that. See how that goes.
Rheekhi's going to take his tongue.
I hope not. Okay, Dagobah. Wabani acted quite aggressively during the meeting and had to be sedated via magical means. Do you think Wabani was satisfied by the encounter? Does Wabani believe that Kordwin? Does Wabani believe what Kordwin said?
I'm thinking that, okay, so a spell was cast and he didn't feel the visceral animosity anymore while the spell was in place. But as soon as the spell was lifted, I'm fairly certain that I know what had happened, and so I'm even angrier. So if anything, I'm still looking for retribution.
Okay, so nothing was resolved there.
No, he hasn't proven anything. Not to me, anyways.
I've got a question for Dagobah. How do you think Wabani feels about the fact that none of his friends believe him when it comes to his theories about the Brown Confederation?
He doesn't know that. He thinks you guys believe him lock, stock, and barrel. Don't put ideas in my head. I can tell you, he's certain that we're going to find the monolith because Donaru is going to guide us. He has faith.
Blind faith. That's always good.
Blind faith. Oh my lord.
Okay, for you, Deception. At the end of the episode, what happened was that comment with the bugbears. So the party observed a group of bugbears placing several things, bits of food, gold, and other baubles in a circular pit. What do you think that is for?
For Asriel to pocket? I don't know. I assume it's some sort of... Oh, bugbear's religious? That's what I don't understand. I guess we'll get there, we'll investigate, and maybe it's for a deity, maybe it's for a creature more powerful than them that they're scared of, that needs a tribute.
Yeah, Jace certainly had some ideas.
Ooh, what was Jace's ideas?
Summoning circle was my thought at the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will find out what it is.
I
just thought I'd throw
Frankie.
that out there.
Yeah.
I got a question for Frankie.
All right, I'm here.
I want to put Rheekhi on the spot.
Oh, Rheekhi and not Frankie. Okay.
Well, not one and the same, I imagine. But here it goes. Kill all humans. Where did that come from?
From my mind meld with Bindi.
So it's not Rheekhi who's actually in control. It's this squirrel.
Perhaps, yes. Yes.
Oh, too funny.
Okay, Dagobah, for you, Dwayne Jackson is part of the previous expedition to venture into the Northern Wastes. Will your character be happy if he finds Dwayne alive after all this time?
That's a Rheekhi question. Dagobah would be if I find Dwayne lying in a puddle. Wobani will be happy.
Okay, cool. Actually, we got our first question from the audience, and it is: why did Wobani lend Azrael the gold to buy him the arrows?
Oh, well, hey, wait, I know who that is.
I know too, but still,
at the end of the day, it became Wobani was sitting there thinking that he'd gotten flack from Rheekhi and Jace about being stingy. So he was sitting there thinking, all right, look, Azrael needs stuff, and if Azrael doesn't get stuff, there's a better chance that me, Wobani, is going to die. So let's make sure that he's outfitted so that there's a greater chance that Wobani lives. Self-interest.
That seems like a good reason. Okay, Deception. How did you find the interactions that took place during the meeting? Was this what you expected Wobani would behave?
No. I remember hearing Wobani saying, "Yeah, we can't trust Kordwin Brown. We can't trust what he's doing. He's part of the Confederation." But then he's like, "Yep, I jump him." It's like, whoa! Azrael was expecting some hostility, the finger or maybe some really harsh words thrown, but not a full-on assault.
Yeah. I wasn't actually expecting that either.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Did you expect him to go so aggro with Kordwin?
No. I knew he had animosity towards him, but I did not suspect that he would actually be in full front of lots of people there violent.
I had so much fun.
Oh, so did I.
It was you're surprised the hell out of you guys, and you're like, wait, what am I gonna do here? Oh, it's good.
And I kind of let the dice roll what exactly happened, whether you got the jump or whether the Dragonborn managed to hold you back, and luckily she did.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Mm.
You missed that one out. You missed that out quite a bit, Frankie. That was a blast.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame to miss it, really.
Yes, unfortunately we had situation where unfortunately Frankie couldn't make it last Friday, but
we'll be back on Friday this week.
And she was missed.
Yep, she was.
Right, okay, what's the next question? For you, Dagobah, is Wobani concerned about running into some of his old tribe, the Wild Fury tribe in the Northern Wastes?
Oh, he dreads it. Dreads it more than anything, and I think I roleplayed too the dread of coming again, meeting any of them. This probably means the game master is going to freaking go and do something.
I'd never do a thing like that. What? Throw an adventure in the Northern Wastes and have you run into the your old tribe? Why would I do a thing like that?
That can't be my mother.
I'm not that transparent.
I got one for you.
Yeah, go for it.
So, do you want to share what your favorite moment has been as our game master?
Over the whole series?
Yeah. Something that's really sold it for you?
Oh, I can't. It's difficult for me to pick one thing, but I do certainly love the interactions between the players. Things like having the audacity to get a tattoo on the back of Wobani's character.
That was so unexpected.
That was unexpected, but hilarious. What else? The interactions with the people at Terrason, who were followers of Donaru. I thought that was fantastic as well. What else? the behaviors towards things like Gordon Fillingsworth, him being an unfortunate NPC in the middle of something much bigger than him, and how he was treated, and still how he's treated to this day. And I guess another thing is like the NPC Lucy. I mean, she was supposed to be almost a one-off character, but for some reason she's just started to grow, which is fantastic.
How much bigger is she than when we started?
Oh, she's 1 year bigger.
Ah.
I've kind of run out of questions. You guys have any more?
Oh, one.
Go
Does
for it.
having more players make you lower the difficulty or up the difficulty of battles? Like, sorry, having more role players make the battles harder, or do you make them easier considering that we role play quite a bit more than we?
Well, it's doing encounter design is always a bit of an art. Like, you have a look at the way you have challenge rating difficulties within the DMG and those sorts of things, and they'll say have this blah blah blah, and that should be a certain difficult fight for the party. But in real life, it's a very, very loose guide, and the way I try and go about encounter design is I'll throw something out at the party, see how they handle it, how many resources they spend, and then I'll tweak it from there. So now that there's actually a larger party of 5 as opposed to the 3 that we had for running for a while, I will be upping the difficulty a certain amount to make it interesting. But the trick is to up it so it becomes, and this is not every encounter, but up it so it becomes, challenging and scary. Like there was an encounter back when it was only 3 people. 3 people, when they were fighting a golem, or it's a gem sort of golem. And the feedback I got back from the players after that was that they were on the edge of death, and they were like sitting on the edge of their seat. When from my side, I could see what was happening. I'm going, oh yes, this is tracking really well. So I'm looking at sort of trying to make sure those sorts of encounters happen. Not every time, but it certainly adds to the suspense and the interest.
Yeah, because I think those, like, the harder battles make for better roleplay as well. Because you talk, like, the players, as you said, like, you got a lot of feedback about it afterwards. I think it's awesome to see. And people get so worried about their characters, but as the DM, you know how close they actually are to death.
Yeah, exactly. I had to be a little bit more light touch with 3 players, because as soon as you lose 1 player down, their output in a battle is much, much less. Like you lose 1/3 of the outcome. But for 5 people, you can afford to be a bit more, cutthroat, for want of a better term. And the way that I've got my healing house rules, they'll bounce back, and it won't be as, it'll still be dramatic because you're having a player down, but the outcome of the encounter won't be as swinging, so you can actually go for those dramatic moments without as much fear.
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree.
So is there any question? Sorry, you go,
I got
Dagobah.
one. So it's a group thought I wanted to know. So what do y'all think Sunny May would have done in that meeting with the creme de la creme of Modano?
A practical joke of some kind.
Certainly. I'm surprised that Deception didn't run with that.
I'm very bad at doing May. I'm sad that the audience didn't get to hear May and Rheekhi speaking when it was both me and Atwa. That would have been hilarious. We did interact during the fight for like a good 10-15 seconds.
Oh dear. Did we change the dynamics at all? What happened?
No. It was just May being impressed with herself and Rheekhi being like, "Oh, good job," sort of thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it was wholesome, but was missed out on. It's such a shame.
Dear. I do have a question for Atua.
Oh dear, yep, go on.
So when we go into one of those fights where we're supposed to not be scared because you've got all in hand, and one of us dies, what is your least favorite character class for us to come back as?
The ones that are probably house ruled as the ones that are probably house ruled as being banned.
No. All right. What is your least favorite character class for us to come back out of that is not banned?
I honestly, I don't mind. All of them are entertaining. So, I mean,
Okay.
but you've got an interesting dynamic now that you've got a second person who can actually. Well, I mean, Jace sort of bounces around from melee and ranged. So, but now that May's there as well, I'm not as worried about the range characters getting so much attention.
So I can come back as a dual wielding drow that sighs a lot and acts melodramatic.
Certainly.
Sighs a lot. Just audible sighs all game.
Oh, this world is so awful. Tragedy.
Does that mean Rheekhi's going to take a pitfall?
Sorry, Frank. No.
That's certainly not my intention. I don't want to kill off anyone.
I know. Maybe Bindi used to be a melodramatic goth drow dual wielding, but Bindi got transformed into a squirrel as a curse from Lolth from leaving the Underdark.
And every once in a while, she takes over Rheekhi's mind.
That's where the kill all humans comes from. That makes complete sense. Thank you. We've worked it out. Good work, everyone.
Excellent. Investigation over.
Backstory now becomes canon.
It all makes so much sense. This squirrel that used to be the goth emo drow that occasionally possesses a human friend. That's just, yeah. Why didn't we see that? It was clearly so obvious.
Well, it's probably for sure in the monolith for now. her real family
must be
recognizes her right away.
Must be. We'll wait and find out.
Or the progenitors are all Bindy's family.
What a twist. Nephilim pointed out May would have been excited to be in the room with more friends and be included in the group.
See, that's funny because I was wondering, they're all the who's who and to be who, and May comes from this super wealthy family, so I was really, really curious how she would have interacted.
Well, you'll have to wait till she's actually on one of these chat channels and ask her directly.
Yeah, I think she just would have been more wholesome, if that makes sense. Like, that's kind of her character. Her character is pretty much wholesome, from what I can tell. Like,
I will say, without revealing anything, I will say her background is interesting. And when I do get to help reveal it with her, then it might be it might help with the understanding of how her character plays.
Well, for sure. That's the whole thing, right?
That's right. Trying to find the spot to add it in.
Yeah.
And I still got some tricks up my sleeve when it comes to Jace's character as well. But
I'm waiting for the big Rheekhi reveal. Is what I mean that she's actually the leader of the Brown Confederation. That would be that would be the end of Wobani, I'm sure.
Oh, it's the best way to keep tabs on the enemy is to infiltrate.
Which, that Rheekhi and Bindi are Kordwin Brown.
all along.
That's right. I mean, because like a really big person is two little people in a suit sometimes.
Yes,
I mean, who's
indeed.
to say that two little people can't be one big person?
That's right.
So, another question from Nephilim is, was Wobani surprised to be overpowered by the people who protected Kordwin?
Well, I mean, I would have liked to have gotten in a couple of really good licks. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about it for a long time, the Kordwin reveal and what would make the most logical sense. And Wobani worked himself up into a lather about the whole Kordwin thing. So I really would have liked to have gotten in a few licks before I was... And it was tough to play, all right, you've been charmed of a sort. And... because I was so caught up in the immerse into the rage. So,
yeah,
immerse into the rage. Happy. Oh,
then nullified.
Be happy now. You're friends.
Oh, did you like the cliffhanger on I think it was the episode before where Kordwin was revealed?
Oh, I loved getting my scream off at the end.
That was an amazing cliffhanger, to be honest.
Yeah, it was the best possible point to end.
It was, definitely. All right. So any other questions from the audience before we look at wrapping up tonight and move on to the game on Friday, which I'm looking forward to continuing. But while we wait, if I can get anyone to add some more comments. Rheekhi, I know you weren't involved in the last game, but are you looking forward to traveling through the Northern Waste with the group?
No.
One word answer.
Oh, Rheekhi.
There you go.
Yes, I am. It'll be fun, as usual. I don't know, I might have to knit a teeny little squirrel jacket before we leave town, though. I'm a bit worried about Bindy's welfare, in that she's a very small animal, and Northern Waste sounds cold and inhospitable.
There will
down.
be the introduction of the monolith, and we walk towards it, and we accidentally walk through a portal, and we're in Lord and Lee in your village.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Stop giving me
Wait, what?
ideas, Dagobah. All the ideas. All right, I think
Backstory,
we'll wrap it up here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And remember, you can vote at the button below, which will help with me creating the next adventure. On saying that, the next few weeks we'll be focusing on the random concepts that have already been selected before, and we will see how the party fares traveling through the Northern Waste. We'll look forward to seeing everyone next Friday at 8:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.